Hello again. Welcome to another episode of Leading from Alignment with our good friend, John Opalewski. How are you today, John?
Jim, I'm good. It's good to be with you this morning.
Right on. Same here. I enjoy our conversations, and I know we want to get right to the subject at hand. So episode 102, here we go. A new century has begun. What are we talking about today?
The relationship between teachability and longevity. And
Teachability and longevity.
Yeah. And when we talk about this subject, I think about shooting stars. I love watching shooting stars. They're just amazing, right? They're so cool. You see this, flash of light across the sky, and this meteor or some piece of space junk, whatever it is, hits the Earth's atmospheres, and it's just mesmerizing watching shooting stars. Yes. When it comes to leadership, shooting star leaders are not as mesmerizing to me. I think church history is full of stories about talented people who started well and had a great upside, only to eventually crash and burn.
Finishing well is hard.
Yeah, it really is. And I wonder, Jim, if one of the reasons some leaders flame out is because they surround themselves with people who are afraid to tell them the truth.
Yeah.
There's an author named Susan Tardanico, and she asked this question: are you the kind of leader who punishes people overtly or subtly for speaking up and telling you things you don't want to hear?
I'll be right back. I'm going to repent. I got to go to the altar. It's funny you say subtly, because I'll kind of bit me a little bit there. That's a good question.
Yeah, as I was reading that, it was having the same effect on me. The scripture talks about this. Proverbs 9:7-8 says, "Whoever corrects a mocker invites insult. Whoever rebukes a wicked man incurs abuse. Do not rebuke a mocker, or he will hate you. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you." And so I think that how we respond to correction, no matter how old we are or how much experience we have, is really a true reflection of our character.
That's good.
And here's what I believe also, that the more gifted you are as a leader, the more accountability you need.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that, Jim?
Well, unfortunately, as soon as you said that, I had a laundry list of names and stories that came to mind. And if I knew them, that means they did something amazing, because there's billions of people on the earth. And if I knew their name and their story, with sometimes tragic endings, this is not uncommon. And so for us to say, well, it won't happen to me, I imagine most people said that. Yes. Well, it's no big deal. I just have a strong personality. I imagine most people said that. Well, it's just the way I unwind, or it's just no one will ever find out. Or I think the first person we'd have to be honest with is ourselves. So I like the conversation. I just admitted that sometimes I'm a little touchy, and I'll give a sarcastic jab back. Well, then Proverbs doesn't say, well, that's no big deal. Proverbs says, fools, mockers, wicked. Those are the words associated with that behavior, not personality, disc assessment. It's
I'm an Enneagram 8, something like that.
Yes, right. So it's okay for me to ignore Proverbs, right? So this is a good conversation, and I think it's not just a good conversation for the potentially arrogant, but I think for the potentially humiliated as well. God has always put people around us through history, right, to be the right person in the right place at the right time with the right stuff.
Right.
And so, what are the things that would close our eyes and ears to those people He places in our lives? It's us.
Yep.
It's pride, it's fear, or whatever it is, but we're the ones that close the doors.
So I think there's a relationship between how long we can do what God's called us to do and how teachable we are. So I'd like to talk about a few ways, Jim, that we can actually increase that character quality in our lives. Here's the first one, and that's to admit that we have blind spots. I'll never forget my driver training instructor. I'll never forget this. 40 plus years ago, saying to me, check your blind spot, Opalewski. Use your side view mirrors. Because I just learning how to drive on the road, and I honestly don't know how those driver instructors do it. But blind spots are areas of life where our view is obstructed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the problem is we can't see those things. We can't.
Right.
They're called blind spots because we can't see them, and we need other people to help us. And so admitting the fact that I had somebody say this to me one time, I thought it was really good. He says, John, I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
There are things I don't know, but I don't even know what those things are. And I think that, I think admitting that is a positive step, and it really serves as preventive medicine for what I call shooting star-itis when it comes to leaders. What do you think about that first one?
I think of the TV show The Office with Michael Scott. And, he has no idea he's a terrible leader. And everybody around him has to accommodate, but I know it's an extreme example for the sake of humor, but let's be honest. I think we've probably all served on one team, whether it's for a day or a wedding rehearsal or, our job today or our ministry today, where there's somebody that really doesn't know that they are not the leader they think they are. Yeah. And so, I think admitting, that's a good place to start, right? The first of the 12 steps, admit that I have a problem. I need a greater power, a higher power to restore me to sanity. I think that's a great first step for all repentance is I don't know what I don't know, or even I do know what I don't know. I mean, I know the things about my own character, like we just talked about a moment ago, but now I have to go a step farther. So what's that next step besides admitting I have blind spots that I'm not as blind to as I was 5 minutes ago?
Yeah. And that is really the second piece here. And that is inviting brave people into our circle.
Yeah.
Whether you pastor a church of 50 or 500 or 5,000, or you are leading a startup or you're the CEO of a large corporation, you desperately need people in your inner circle who, when they speak, you listen.
Yeah.
Friends and work peers who care enough to tell you the truth about you, and people who aren't intimidated by you. I've noticed that human nature, we tend to surround ourselves with people who tell us what we want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need people in my life, Jim, who tell me what I don't want to hear. Yeah. What they see. I need people to tell me, John, here's what it's like to be on the other side of you.
Right.
Because I don't always know what that is like. I think I'm self-aware, but I'm sure there are many times where in my head, I think I'm being compassionate, or I think I'm being a certain way, and somebody is experiencing me in a totally different way than I imagine. And you know what, Jim? I feel like when a leader is insecure, they really have a hard time listening to somebody to say, you know what, when you said that to me, here's what that did to me.
Right.
Or you give directions and it's clear in your mind, but it's not clear in my mind. We need you to give us more detail. We need to know what you're thinking. And you're laughing. I'm not sure why you're laughing. But,
I'm laughing because I again, every time you say these things, I remember people either that I've led or that have led me. And I'm laughing because everybody in the room knows this, but you, and having those people that say I'm going to say my least favorite, but not because it wasn't a great episode, but the most uncomfortable episode we ever did was on emotional, the EQ, the emotional quotient, being emotionally intelligent. And man, my son was the engineer for that. We did it in the studio.
Right.
And we had so many difficult conversations out of that because he was the one laughing. He was the one breaking eye contact. And what were you talking about? He said, "Oh, Dad, you know what I'm talking about. I'm laughing. You're a bull in a china shop when you get upset. And I went, he said, I can't get people to work in the like the tech department because if a slide doesn't come up on time, you throw a fit like a 3-year-old in Kmart that wants a candy bar. I'm like, I do? What do you mean I do? So that all of this is cracking me up because probably over a year ago, it was cold. So a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we had this conversation in a different format that opened up to me some really, humbling and difficult conversations that have made me a better leader and a better father.
Yeah.
So, and I'm still having them. So I haven't arrived. I know that, but I'm laughing because when my son hears this episode, he's going to be slapping the dashboard, crying, laughing, because here I am again.
Right. And so I'll say one last thing on this second piece, and that is if the people in your circle always suck up to you, they're always affirming you, they always stroke you positively, you need to invite some new people into your circle.
Yeah.
Here's the third one, Jim, and this is the last piece of this, is fighting to stay teachable. And I think we talked about this a little bit in Pod 101, but the longer you lead, the harder you have to fight to stay teachable. And if you want to reduce your risk of flaming out, ask God to help you remain open to learning. I think the degree of our teachability today is an accurate predictor of how much growth will occur tomorrow.
Yeah, perfect.
Growth in our character, growth in our skill set, maybe even growth, Jim, in the organization we lead. But primarily what I'm thinking about here is how this helps us personally. Yeah. Because longevity is such an issue, right? Well, part of longevity, there's many parts to it, but part of it is that I keep growing. I keep learning. I recognize I don't have all the answers that John, we quote John Maxwell quite a bit lately, but he said something again that was so brilliant several years ago. He says, none of us is as smart as all of us.
Yeah.
And, so teachability, I think, is an antidote for shooting star leadership.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. John, this is great. Thank you for this. I think that, again, part of what you're here to do is help us lead better, help us to lead longer, and help us, stay emotionally, have a good time doing it.
Yes.
And this is something crucial. We're activating our people. We're walking in humility. We know that God blesses the humble and opposes the proud. We're students of anyone who has truth. And this is a better way to live. It's a better way to live.
I think so.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Well, God bless you. And God bless our listeners and watchers today. Of course, we're on YouTube and we're on this podcast channel you're watching. So you can watch us, you can listen to us, you can drive down the road, you can go jogging, you can do whatever you want to do. But we hope that you continue to do it with us. This is our motivation, is having conversations like this. So you as a leader can have a safe place to grow, to listen. And hopefully this inspired you, corrected you as it's corrected me, teaches you and helps you live a better life and lead others in better lives as well. So, John, if they want to have a conversation with you more about this, just how do they do that?
If you go to our website, convergecoach.com, we have this little link up at the top that says contact us. And if you do click that link, it'll ask you to fill out a form with your name and your email address and a phone number that we can reach you at. And we'll spend 30 minutes with you just rapping and talking about life and seeing if there's anything we can do to help. And if we can't help you, we have a good network of other people and other leaders and other organizations that we can connect you to.
Right on. Thank you. Thank you. So if we can help in any way, that's how you get a hold of us. God bless you, and keep going, guys. Go get them. It's a good time of year to really dig deep and reach some people for Jesus. So God bless you as you continue to lead from alignment.